real estate cheerleader, aka your favorite Dallas realtor, and we are back. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It means it is market of the moment. Okay, and last week we had a few people who had two people who um, wrote on the live, and they were like, "Can you talk a little bit about Airbnb?" So today, if you're thinking about Airbnb in Dallas um, in 2025, let's break it down. Let's talk about smart moves, or even like what are investors really investing in right now. So let's jump right into it. So, of course, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification button so that you're notified every time that I post a video. Make sure you like this video because that sends a message to the algorithm that I'm bringing you some value. And then share with a friend that you believe that this video can help. So, let's talk about it. So, the DFW real estate market overview. What is the market of the moment? Okay. As rates are starting to stabilize, and when I say stabilize, they're hitting that not three, let me slow down. They're hitting that 6.7, 6.9, which is going to be our new norm. And one of these days, I need to pull up the chart that shows you on average a 6.7 to a 7.1 or 7.3 is average for interest rates. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then also, some areas in DFW are starting to soften when it comes to pricing, which is great. So that means buyers, the opportunity is here. It's time to, you know, jump into the game. Inventory is growing, which once again is going to give you a little bit more negotiating power. Okay. What type of properties are investors? What are they buying right now? Like, so that was one of the questions that I got. And I'm going to tell you this, they're buying what they usually buy: multifamily, which is duplexes and triplexes. Investors love these. For single family, I guess single family homes, investors like them, but for like midterm rentals, they like the single family for prime location because it's still popular, especially for Airbnb. But all of the policies and all the things have been changing, so it's kind of making investors kind of be a little bit more hesitant when it comes to Airbnb. And what I've noticed too, a lot of people are selling their Airbnbs and kind of switching more to those boutique hotels. And so I do think that that is a wave that's coming, that more people are going to sell their property and then move more towards just the more boutique vibes when it comes to, I guess, like the hotel space. Because Airbnb was almost like a, hold on, Jake wants to say hi because he must show his face on any social media platform that I'm on. He like knows that I'm on. Yeah, that's a handsome baby. He a handsome baby, y'all. All right, baby. Mommy is talking, so give me some space for now, okay? Um, so yeah, so that's where investors are doing. They're doing multifamily, they're doing single family. Um, I will say the build to rent, some are partnering with builders, but they've really seen the margin of that not necessarily be the best. So I see a lot of people getting out of that. And then the midterm rentals, that 30 to 90 day stay is rising in trend. That's more for like the traveling nurses, the digital people, the relocating families that need to like sit here before they move into their new place. So I will say those midterm rentals are starting to become more popular because it's a good amount of money for 30 to 90 days until people figure out where they need to be situated. Okay. Um, Now, where are the top areas in DFW where investors are buying in 2025? And I'm going to tell you this. I mean, once again, it's in Bishop Arts, it's in Lower Greenville, it's in East Dallas, it's in Uptown, it's in Old East Dallas. It's all the walkable places. Um, That's going to be your best return on investment for Airbnb when it's walkable places. It's by where people are traveling or going. So nightlife, just it has to be a demand for like tourisms or professionals. Now, when it comes to Fort Worth, I will say the value play is big on like South Lake. I'm sorry, not South Lake, like the near the south side, like the Culture District, the downtown Fort Worth, because there are lower prices, but there's more development, and so that's where I've been seeing when the DFW area where people are kind of migrating of where to actually purchase. Um, Now, there's going to be, it depends on what kind of investor you are. Are you a flipper? Are you a holder? Okay, so you got to figure out what, and that's the beautiful part about real estate. You get to figure out what avenue works best for you. I'm a holder. I like to buy my properties and I like to hold them. I want to pay them off, and then I want them to be my cash cow. The only thing I'm paying for is property taxes, and then I can use that for like depreciation towards my taxes. So I don't have to pay taxes as much. Okay. Some people like to buy the house and flip it and then get a big profit and then move on to the next. You got to figure out what type of investor you want to be. Also, I would advise you to, okay, so as I have the millionaire real estate agent, there's also the millionaire investor, like real estate investor. And there's also one that says the millionaire flipper. So like if you are wanting to do one of those, I would advise you to either read that book or go to ChatGPT and say, give me the highlights of all of these and what should I put into action if I want to become a investor that holds, an investor who flips, an investor that fill in the blank. Okay. Now, when it comes to Airbnb income potential in 2025, I still think that there's high performing listings still cash flowing, $2,000 to $6,000 per month. But average Airbnbs are, about 2,400 a month in Dallas. Okay, and seasonality does matter. You do have to build up reserves for those slow months. I mean, there's not that many people, getting into an Airbnb for February. They're going to hotels and things like that versus renting out an Airbnb. But when May and like the summer times and the time for travel, that's when a surplus of people are renting Airbnbs. So you just got to really have those reserves saved up for those slow months so you can be able to carry your investment all the way through. Okay. Let's see what else I want to tell you guys. Okay, yeah, Airbnb rules and like legal landscaping too. I wanted you guys to know that there are so many things changing. So, especially in the Dallas area for single family residents, most must be registered. Like you have to get it registered, and then the hotel will collect taxes. The maximum occupancy and no party, strict enforcement, which is like single family zoning. They restrict or they pause the Airbnb if there's party, if there's gunshots. Like there's been so many crazy things. People will rent out a house in a neighborhood and throw these crazy parties. And one neighbor was like, I have a bullet hole in my fence. And so they're really cracking down on in their HOA. If you have an Airbnb, you can be fined or you can get in a lot of trouble. So you always want to check with your neighborhood zoning plus your HOA and their rules. And you need to be informed, is your HOA changing things? Because that could very much happen. You can move into a neighborhood who allows who allows Airbnb, and then a couple months later they've decided that they no longer want to participate in the Airbnb industry. So then they would fine you if they see that you have a listing on Airbnb and you're in that neighborhood. So be very careful because there are lots of rules that you do need to follow. Okay. And then of course things to consider before investing. Okay, once again, your goals. Like, do you care about cash flow? Do you care about appreciation, or both? Figure out what makes the best investment for you. Also come up with an exit strategy. What happens if single family residents banned in that area? Are you going to sell? Are you going to do midterm rentals? Are you going to do long-term rentals? Do you want to be a landlord? And then legal setup. Do you need an LLC? Proper insurance. So you need like that common shared space when it comes to Airbnb. And then lastly, management, self-management. Are you hiring? Are you co-hosting? Are you a property manager? Like there's so many moving parts. I used to do a 1 hour consultation for like $100 about Airbnb. If that's something that you're interested in, it's not going to be $100 anymore. It's like 120. But I'd be more than happy to walk you through, figure out a business plan for you, help you come up with what makes the most sense for you because Airbnb is a business and you need to treat it as such. So you need to have a target market. You need to have who you're speaking to, what your message is. Is the house, does it match what the needs are for the people that you're trying to reach? So those are things that you definitely want to think about before you get into the Airbnb space. I mean, it's great income, but it has to make sense, okay? And then some things that can offset Airbnb. That those, like I said, midterm rentals is great for traveling nurses and business professionals. Long-term rentals, in general, those are going to be in areas that are appreciating good school district. People want their kids to be in those areas. Like my condo, great school district. It's in Plano ISD. It's a condo. It's a 2-bedroom, 1,400 square footage. It's good for someone who is in transition. And then partnering with like relocation companies or insurance housing, like those are great things that can offset Airbnb if you buy a certain property for it to be Airbnb and then the rules change and the regulations change. You can shift to these things, but you need to have these things aligned, okay? And then, of course, my final and last thoughts when it comes to Airbnb, which is Airbnb still worth it? But I would say it's worth it if that's in your game plan. Like, I don't know what your goals are, but I would say it's only worth it in the right areas, in the right setup. Investors in 2025 are more strategic. They're focusing more on cash flow plus flexibility. And I just think if you're buying something just for Airbnb, it might not be the best setup. I would go more towards the midterm rentals because I think that those are a little bit more rare, which means that people are willing to pay a little bit more. Hello, I want to do something that's rare and gets me paid more, okay? And then just know you have options. Talk to somebody who's going to walk you through all your options. And so if that's something that you're looking to do, of course, like I said, if you want an hour consultation for Airbnb and getting your business plan all set up, I do charge about $120 to walk you through that. Now, if you just want a 15-minute conversation and to tell me your story and tell me what all you have going on, that's free. Just schedule a strategy session. But I will say I do stick very strictly to that 15 minutes, so make sure that you use it wisely. Oh, thanks. Do your research on, okay, it's a lot of waterfront properties and developments. Okay, I definitely will. I think everyone is different. Everybody has to figure out what they really want when it comes to investing. So, Airbnb, midterms, long terms, hold, flip, build to rent, all the things. And that's the beautiful thing about life is that we all have choices and we all get to choose how we want to live this beautiful journey we get to call life. So if you guys don't have any questions, definitely, well, I'm sure you probably will after you watch this. If you have questions, put it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them as the week goes on. Next week, we'll focus more on just the market of the moment, letting you know what's going on. Interest rates, once again, are pretty stable around that 6.7 to about 7.2. That is our new norm. That's where it's going to be. New construction is still the most affordable way to buy. So if you want to buy something with the most incentives, go new construction. But they're usually a little bit more in the boonies, okay? And then for my sellers, just remember, price your property right, and you should have no issues. There's only two reasons why homes don't sell: price and condition. It is a beauty contest and a pricing war. So I trust that this video has brought you value. Make sure you share with someone that you believe that it will bring value to you. Hit that subscribe button and the like so that you're notified every time I post a video. I'll see you guys next Monday at 6 o'clock. And I believe I might be doing a live tomorrow with one of my preferred lenders, Tiffany. And she's going to talk about the price of waiting. It costs the opportunity cost that it'll cost you when you're waiting to make that purchase or make that step to become a homeowner or move up. So, love you, friends. Until next time. Oh, I forget how to do this. I'm on another. There we go.